Well, can you guys hear me? I am going live right now, but I'm using a different software. So I just want to make sure that it's working. Dynamis is in the chat. Can you hear me, buddy? Yes, I'm listening to the playback on my laptop, so it's good. Dynamis is in the chat. Can you hear me, buddy? Konnichiwa. Minasan. Tonight, special show for you. Donaldo-chan is a very good drawing. You very, very lucky. He's a very, very good doll. I don't really remember much Japanese. I studied it for like 3 years, but that just never stuck. Anyway, here I am, and I am done with my last job, so I'm jumping back on my original comic book, Militiaman. Get a little headway on that. I feel like I'm missing a page, though, and that's driving me kind of crazy. I went through a lot of the pages, and I know that I'm missing something, so I'm like, I mean, I keep all the pages together, so I don't know where the hell it could have gone. What the heck? Oh, there it is. Okay, now we're getting better. Just kind of want to get these sort of slightly in the same place. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay. I for some reason, I couldn't locate these before. Give you a little look at the Militiaman story. It's been a long time since I've done this. I've had this new other freelance job, and I've been working on that. A lot of racial tension on the set here between these different characters. They're not getting along. And, yeah, I was mentioning how, like, when you do these like huge graphic novel stories, they like 5 issues of it's just insane amounts of work, and I don't know, I guess it's an obsession. Maybe it's a mental health thing or something. I don't know. So I really want to get this story out, though. It's a damn good story. I wrote it, so it must be good. Anyway, I'm very excited about this story. I'm getting back to these pages and looking at it. I'm like, wow, man, I missed this. This is really cool. It's a really cool story. Anyway, so that's that. And here you are, and there we go. 私の日本語はとってもダメです。Hippocratic Oath is here. Who is Rachel Tenshin? Oh, dude, that's a good one, man. Holy cow. That would be a great, like, Anon account. You know what I mean? Rachel Tenshin. You're right on the ball there, buddy. How's everything south of the border there, bud? Yeah. Excuse me. The usual. Work all day, draw all night. No rest for the wicked. But I was thinking about you, Mr. Hippocratic Oath. What's this Japanese? Yeah, I was just making a reference to an earlier comment in the chat. Dynamis says, they have abducted Donaldo. Donaldo would be like the Japanese pronunciation of my name. Donaldo Kento is a very, very good artist. draw the American manga. It's very nice. Anyway, so I was trying to say something. Hippocratic Oath. You are south of the border, are you not? So I was just curious, how is it down there? What's it like? I guess, I think I had mentioned that, like, I don't know. It seems like I would be nervous to live down in Central America, with cartels and all that shit. You know what I mean? One thing about One thing about using StreamYard, I don't think I can zoom in on the camera. No, I can't. With the other way I was doing it, I can zoom in on the art, and I can't do that in StreamYard. But anyway, Central America, the new South Pole, in around 10, 15 years. Yeah, my channel, maybe my channel and I can get into that discussion. I don't know if you want it. Do you want to do that, my channel? We've been having a conversation. It's pretty heavy stuff, though. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. Everything is good. The president of Costa Rica is getting paid by Biden to stop immigrants, but charges immigrants for bus rides north. Ah, how cute. Awesome. Okay, what's awesome? I don't know. I'm losing track here. I don't know if I should be inking when I'm so fucking tired. What's wrong with me? Thing is, I just hooked up with some old friends I hadn't seen in a long time, and they wanted to treat me to dinner. It wasn't a big dinner, but I usually kind of eat light around the second half of the day so that I'm not tired. And there you go, and now you know. Oh. So it's feeling kind of muh. Anyway, my brain is lit. Just got off watching a salty Ben Davidson. I don't know who Ben Davidson is. Ben Davidson, the guy, the catastrophe guy, right? Awesome old friends and dinner rundo. So yeah, these. I mean, I can't really ever get into like my personal life on these streams. Although oddly, I talk a lot about my personal life, but suffice to say, like, these are very close friends that I have a pretty deep friendship with, and it just sort of sucks how, like, you can live not that far from each other, but jobs and life and dumb shit just always seem to kind of get in the way. And but so many times we're like, okay, let's hook up. I can't do it on that day, and I'm sure you guys have experienced things like that. It's just dumb when it happens, but you can't really, it just is, So we finally made it. Actually, the one dude, he got a new job, and so he got a new schedule, and so that's technically how this worked. Is that like his schedule and my schedule finally coincided? So that was nice. Anyway, had a lot to talk about in terms of shit that's going down in my family, and politics. Obviously, they're totally, on our side. Like, they get it. They know everything that's going on. A funny thing, I talked about this a little bit last night. Like, we're in a restaurant, and it's like a kind of the usual family restaurant type thing, and I had to get talking about the Jews, and oh boy, and like the couple sitting at the table next to us, I don't know if they left because I was doing that, or they were just like, we're ready to go or something. But kind of got the vibe like maybe I was being a little loud, and I don't know. Am I bad? Am I a bad person? Should I not JQ strangers in restaurants? I'm a bad person, right? I better stop that. Okay. I'm going to confession on Sunday. Forgive me, for I have sinned. I've told the truth to normies, shattered their reality. How many rosaries do I need to say? I'm sorry. Maybe being tired is like making me weird and annoying too. So you guys are gonna have to really be patient with me tonight. No, that's not true. I'm not gonna be weird and annoying. Just a little. Let's see. So my channel says I'd love to test dialing in. I have a Pixel 3. Should be fast enough. All my laptops are somewhat ancient. I'm not sure dialing into what. Juice at a restaurant? Yeah, right. It was orange juice. Well, no, you loud for speaking about those massacring Palestinian Christians, blowing up churches. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing. It is there. I don't know. That actually is kind of an interesting question if you think like, what is the psychological profile of someone who like insists on telling the truth or speaking the truth, like insists on it. Now, in reality, if I'm in I don't know, a delicate social situation or something, I'm not gonna say something stupid and mean. I'm not gonna be hurtful to somebody. And I'm not talking about the Jews. I mean, like, just a normal social situation. Um, I'm not like innately confrontational or anything like that. Um, but it does seem to me like there's something about it. Like, why is it that we do this and other people don't? There's a really, really nice guy who reached out to me recently on Twitter. Um, he's a follower, but a kind of a lurker, and he's not, he doesn't say that, he says he's like, I wouldn't really qualify as sort of quote in the movement or something, because he's more moderate, and but he supports what I do. He likes what I do, and he just had some very interesting suggestions about a certain topic, reparations specifically, and it was just a nice little conversation. And I'm like, hey man, like, why don't you like I wanted to engage more and see about possibly getting him on the show, even because he is a creator of sorts, and but I got the feeling like he didn't really want to do that, and so obviously I wouldn't push something like that. I suppose there's dangers to this. I suppose there's, it's just it's naive of me to think that that people would just embrace this stuff, that white well-being, everything that we are and do. Like, I was there's a new channel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's like, I think it's like called Jared Taylor Fan or something, and it's all Jared Taylor, not just Jared Taylor, but it's all his interviews, and a lot of stuff from Ameren, a lot of conferences. Like, the dude started Ameren in 1990. Imagine all the speeches from just the conventions alone over all that time. And that's not to mention, his college appearances and radio and on and on and on. That's like a ton of stuff, Um, it's like a very, 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 very important resource for us, and I feel like everybody should probably maybe download his speeches, so that we have them kind of archived in a way, Um, but the point I'm making is that he was saying, like, 30 years ago when I started this, I was, so naive and thinking that everybody would just naturally embrace, the project. But boy, was I wrong. We are in a post-truth world. The false narrative is doctrine. White Jared, yes. Arigato. Let me read the comments a bit here. It's easy to run around the whole race thing and trigger normies. Yeah. Well, I mean, I forget what the context of it was. Somehow, shit, what was it? I'm just, my brain is not firing all cylinders right now. But at one point, I kind of saw, I saw somebody sort of like glance over someone's shoulder at me, and I thought, all right, I got an audience. So I started rambling off statistics. Here's another thing. So on another social media platform, what was it? There was a video of J.R. Tolkien talking about how he didn't like the Nazis and something, and like, how he was so into German mythology and studied it for his life, and he thought that the Nazis were blah 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 blah, all this shit. And then me, I had to comment on it. So I go in there, I'm like, no disrespect to JR and everything, but there's no way he could have known the truth through the British media at the time. And then I just started dropping truth bombs, And then the thing about it is that you get one of these guys who's like sort of a white knight, basically, type character, but like, you're motivated by hate, man. Like, you gotta see past the hate. So, and then, like, Christians did all this stuff in history too. And so because Christians did it, that means the Jews didn't do it. And like, you just have to be more open-minded, man. And so I'm like, oh God, here we go. So I thought I'd give this guy what for, and point for point, I went down his little childish tirade and just knocked every fucking one of them out of the water. Like, yes, I can do this, and yes, I can say this, and this is the fact, and da 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 da. And I just banged it out and banged it out, and I'm all of it is like, look up this resource, look up this resource, look up this resource, like, and then he's like, he comes back at me with an even longer tirade about, blah blah blah, and just skimming it, looking at it, the dude is like a total pseudo intellectual, like a complete. It starts off essentially. I can essentially say that, like, I don't even think he understood the reply that I wrote, because maybe he did understand it, but he didn't want it to be true, kind of thing. Maybe that was what it was. And I just, the side of me was like, I really want to fucking destroy this guy. But then I thought, why waste your energy? Like really, what what is it gonna amount to? Like if he's like blatantly an idiot about these things, then like what? Why? You know what I'm trying to say? Like there's just no point to it. I'm in a sense the fool for trying to kind of make him understand or something like that. And the thing, he's like, you didn't make one single quote, and I'm like, I didn't make one single quote. I told you a bunch of things to research, like, but it's like it's fair enough where it's like, okay, you know, I don't know what Noahide law is, or I don't know who is the CEO of BlackRock, or I don't, like this is a common. I mean, I'm saying like on his side, like he wouldn't know those things, but I'm like pointing him in that direction. So if somebody comes to me and they're, and I'm on the other side of this, they're like, what you need to do is look up this, check that thing out, something, then at least I have a resource. I can be like, okay, well, maybe I better jump online for a second here and see what is that thing. What, like, I've never heard of no-hide law before. What's that? No. There, he's just a midwit pseudo-intellectual. But the thing about it that I think is so cringe is how he has all the canned lines. They're just canned, like Facebook tier normie retardation, normie tard. And like, man, you just gotta open your mind, open your heart, man. You're not listening. It's like, shithead, you're not fucking listening, So it's like, and so you just back off because it's like this guy's a hopeless cause. He cannot function as an adult, And that was one of the discussions that I had with my friends for dinner tonight. Was just like, what the fuck is wrong with the normies? Like what is fucking wrong with them? And then they were just sharing their own personal experiences of people at work or in their family, that they're kind of like the soldiers of CNN. CNN says this, and you have to agree, and they get very, very huffy about shit if you're not, towing the line. It's weird, man. It's fucking cultish. Anyway, Western Kind is here. Welcome, brother. I will listen to insightful commentary while I answer the call of nature. Oh, that is a little more information than I needed to know. Okay. Hippocratic Oath says we are in a read that YouTube channel. Dr. Deep State refers to the Jays as Norwegians. Really? That's a new one. I never heard that. You are not, hold on, you are not convincing him, but the audience that may be watching. Yeah, that's always kind of the thing. You nailed it. That you so nailed it. Anti-whiteism is their religion. Heresy is not accepted. So that's quite the thing right there. It's like it's a cult. It's a cult. I don't know what else to tell you. What are you gonna do? So my one friend was talking about how there's a new Muslim girl on her job, and of course I'm not naming names or whatever, so there's no way to trace any of this information. But she's a young girl, and she's got like the Marxist talking points down already. Wherever she learned that from. And there was some point at work where my friend, she's a female, of course, she said or did something that just was normal, work related stuff. And the Muslim girl looked at her and said, "Oh, that's very white of you." And so my friend went to HR. And here's the thing, the head of HR is a black woman. So she's like, "Ah, shit, I'm really worried. How's this gonna go? Is this? Oh shit, this is the thing, right?" And I'm gonna send the my YouTube playlist of equal training to her so she can get all her dialectical stuff in order and know how to defend herself in this situation. But anyway, fortunately, the black woman in HR was very good, handled it professionally, and whatever, made a note, sort of starting a report kind of thing, and then advised her, like, if that happens again, you just tell her, like, I'm not cool with that. Don't say that again. And even if she asks why and tries to entangle you in a discussion, just simply say, don't do that again. And so what it is essentially building a harassment case against this Muslim girl at work. And so, welcome to being white. Fun times. Yes, it's not as bad as getting slapped like I did when I was a teacher. It's pretty shocking. The boy that the Muslim boy that slapped me when I was a teacher was in 8th grade. His dad is on the board of the school, and he just said, like, I own this school. I can do anything I want. Of course, I got him suspended or whatever, but that just gave him a little vacation. So there's no. And later, that same kid came to me. This is very creepy. Out of fucking nowhere, he just comes up to me and he says, "Hey, did you know that according to Islam, when I'm married, if my wife dies, I can have sex with my mom?" I was like, for starters, like, wanted to throw up, and then secondly, I'm like, why did you tell me that? Like, why are you telling me these things? Does not make a great case for Islam. Pretty fucking gross. I'm sorry, I probably should edit that out of the show. And then I have dramatic silence. Violent animal needed an adjustment of attitude. Oh boy. And there you go. Oh, you're talking about the kid that slapped me. I see what you mean. Yeah, that's, I see these teachers in these videos with, like, the kids in the class that beat up their teachers and shit. I'm like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, you just, like, what the fuck, How is this happening? Anyway, we should try to find something a little more positive to talk about than that. So maybe my channel can talk about the impending solar flare catastrophe. That'd be a lot more positive. So I got some shows coming up. Copy. Donato, you escaped. Yes, I am back. I am back. Yeah, I'm using StreamYard this time to stream this show, and the reason being is that on Tuesdays tomorrow, I have my show with Paul Patriart, the what's it called, the Patriotic Art Live, and my new camera hasn't come in yet, so I'm like, ah, shit, I need an alternative, and I wanted to test out my phone, and here we are. Oh my god, I like them apples. Anyway, this page is kind of done. I'm gonna sort of kind of jump over to this one here. Oh, yeah. I don't like to fuss with like teeny tiny details when I'm on doing a live show. Kind of like to just, you know what I mean? Just get her done. Anyway, give me something interesting to talk about, guys. And let's see. I am up to discuss whatever. All right, Western Kind. What do you think about Nick Fuentes and the Groypers? What is your angle on that group? Because I am kind of in a 50-50 zone. I appreciate a lot of what he does, but I think there's a lot of sus going on. Somebody made a point about him the other day that, like, how is it that he's been so close to so many major events like January 6th and walked away unscathed while other people got arrested or in some kind of trouble? Like, how is it that he gets off the hook? You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm not a total Groyper holler coast. Let's see. Oaf says it is up. Is it upcoming? I thought the mini nova would happen in 2040, or are you talking about the false flag solar flare? I'm talking about the real one, and I think my channel can clarify this, but it's looking closer, like somewhere between, I think, 2040 and 2050, and this happens every 12,000 years, and it's kind of, well, it's like it'll I don't want to scare you if I tell you what I know about it. It's the big one. And this fucking thing is dry. Shit. I just bought these fucking things. How is this dry? Stupid ass. Must be from China. Oh, Chinese people don't like you say that. Very offensive. I like your General Tso chickens. Very cool. No, I love the Chinese. Shut up. Okay, here's a good one. Shut up. I'm going all over the place. What's going on in the chat? Groypers. God, Donna, I feel such relief. Total. Oh, thanks for sharing. That's more information than we needed there, bud. Anyway, Sub-Saharan can't swim. Okay, there's that. Fuentes flames more than a solar flare. Yeah, that's another sus thing. I was on a Twitter space conversation with a bunch of Groypers, and they were explaining that was like the clips of him talking about this and that are supposedly out of context, and that it's not, it's like character assassination. It's not true. who's that creepy dark Muslim guy that like just showed up on January 6th with Alex Jones, like just out of nowhere. Like he was like nobody, and now he's walking next to Alex Jones at January 6th. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, you're not a celebrity. You're literally nobody. You came out of fucking thin air, and now you're like Alex Jones' January 6th partner. Like, what is what? You know, I don't know what his name is, Abu Dhabi something or other, whatever. But turned out he's like some kind of a gay pedo. What the fuck, you know? And what's his face? Fuentes. You know, I don't know. He's done things with that guy, political things, I guess. And so I'm like, you know, and then Milo. I mean, these are really bad associations. This is really, really. I can cut someone a break if it's like, well, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know this person was a bad actor, and I've officially disavowed them. It's okay, fine. You know, I'll cut you a break. But like, you have to. It still just kind of lingers. It kind of makes you wonder. Like, okay, is this legit or not? Ali, yeah, that's the guy. Ali Alexander, yeah, sick, fucking sick. Robert Pyle is here. That's right. Good to see you, Robert. Mixed Breed Fuentes has been an excellent fundraiser for anti-white ADL, providing a highly visible boogeyman. Cozy is owned by someone in the tribe. If I've heard it correctly, there are both legit and subversive. So there you go. That was precisely my question. It's like, because Fuentes is like extremely outspoken, you know, in our stuff, and you're like, yeah, rock on, you know, preach it, all right, you know, go for it, you know. And he's got a huge following. He's got all that youth energy. But then when I hear shit like what you're telling me right now, that like Cozy it's in a sense like Goyim TV or something, where it's like run by a Jew, and they are creating the problem, so to speak. There's, you know, oh look, anti-Semitism, but at the same time, they're doing our, I mean, like, they're doing our work, right? I mean, so how is it that's why I'm confused by this. That's why I can't really make up my mind on Fuentes. It's like the dude is very, very, very based. You know, I mean, I'm not talking about like his skill as a speaker, but the shit that he says. You know, I'm not. I think he's very arrogant. He's very young. You know, he's the classic too big for his britches young man kind of thing, which is just goes with the territory. Hey, it's another commercial in the Donald Kent world, so I'll talk about something else while that's going down. And I hit the skip. Thank you. I'm going to turn that down a bit, actually. Just a bit. Let's check out your commentos. Ali is hanging around E. Michael Jones. What the fuck? Oh, no, Ali. Milo. And writing articles for him. EMJ is someone I can't trust, but he has done good research. People of the tribe are empowered by public hatred of them. It's weird. That's kind of the thing of it. It's like, it's the whole psychological trap of it all, you know. What can I say? Milo, man, that fucking guy. He's just trying to latch onto somebody to keep his grift going. His gay grift. That's sick. It's so weird how these people like came up out of nowhere. Like Laura Southern, turns out she's like Ashkenazi Jew. Like, for the longest time we were like, yay, Laura Southern, you know. And then, oh, I just did my DNA testing. Oh my God, what do you know? Oh, I never knew that. Okay. logically, and I know people will bite back on this, but like DNA alone doesn't determine X. Like, it's about gatekeeping. Like, what has she done with her career that is gatekeeping? And there's always the thing of like, a lot of times it's just not saying the whole truth. It's like saying, here I am out on the front line for you, for freedom and free speech and da 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 da. And here's the truth. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and nothing else. And then leaving out, like vital information. I don't know. Who am I? What do I know? What do I know? I'm just an artist. I'm just a caveman lawyer. Okay, I got to read some chat action here, guys. Without anti-Semitism, people of the tribe would assimilate, lose identity. It is glue. It fortifies them. I just call out anti-white people of the tribe. Subversives need to be identified. Yes. I made a whole series of videos, Dynamis says, dunking on EMJ, like 2 hours. Wow, really? Wow. I mean, I've heard a lot of the dunks, so I'm not unfamiliar with that. I started watching Fuentes again after you mentioned his debate with Gavin, and I was both inspired and frustrated. I'm also 50-50. Yeah. I think I'm just going to remain 50-50. We'll see how that goes. But the dude he's vying for power. Like you can tell he wants to get into politics at some point, which I think, if he's not controlled opposition and he's for real, that would be pretty radical. That'd be very radical. Now, this whole like, be Catholic or die is like, it's just teenage retardation, man. Like, come on, dude. Just please, please with it. Anyway, oh shit. How am I gonna get through this stream being so sleepy? The fuck? I'm still recuperating from a certain event that has made me very sleepy. Whatever. So tomorrow, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing the live Patriotic Art Live with Paul Patriot in the UK. He is head of the Patriotic Arts community in the UK, which is kind of like the English White Art Collective. They're affiliated with Mark Collette's Patriotic Alternative. And Mark is a great supporter of the arts. Fabulous guy. I'm going to read some comments here. Jay, wait. I don't really consider Fuentes as part of our scene. He is part of another camp of edgy conservative MAGA supporters, and that's not exactly what we are. I definitely see that. I totally see that. I think there's a bunch of scenes, though. I don't think it's all. We're all kind of like different neighborhoods in one city. That's how I look at the right wing. EMJ was citing some anti-white guy in. Let's put something on the screen for you to look at while I'm reading. EMJ was citing some anti-white guy in Twitter saying how that Irish are not white. That annoys the fuck out of me. That whole like, Irish are not white. He's boomer tier shit, man. Super stupid. Stop, dude. Fucking stop with that. And I hate to say it, but I think that's like a Catholic thing or a Christian thing as well. This like it's deracinated. It's not good. Anyway, moving on. EMJ professes that Catholicism, rather than average racial IQ differences, decides culture. That's absurd. Come on, dude. Don't be an ass. See, this is my problem. How can you be so smart and so stupid at the same time? Right? How can you do it? Dynamis, let's see, EMJ is causing a mini uproar with his endorsement of fiducia supplicans. I don't know what a fiducia supplicans is, so can't comment. I can't help but suspect Milo action. Oh, good, good. I mean, Milo's got to be up to something if he's in there, right? He's not having influence of some kind. EMJ is a notorious bogus Ordite. He has to support whatever the Vatican II sect does. A huge embarrassment. Ice Cube's suppository will invigorate. Haha, just kidding. It's particularly funny because he spent 2 decades attacking that stuff. Now has to support it. See, this is kind of what I mean. That's the cult side of religion, I think, you know. Western Kind says, I heard a story about a guy in the army that had a cube. I'm not sure I want to get into weird stuff on the chat here. It's good example ideology taking line of nothing being. Supplicants is in an order of Pope Francis. The priest can bless LGBT. Oh, okay. So, no, you can't. No, there's no. Christianity and LGBT are diametrically opposed to each other. You know, to me, the Pope is a fucking communist, Satanist shill. So, like, I got nothing there. At the Tower of Babel, God wanted people to be separated. He divided them into separate peoples. God demonstrated that he did not want a world of mulattoes. Salvation is another matter open to any race. So that's a deep rabbit hole right there. That's a big one, of which I'm like too tired to really engage in. But I know people that would love to get into that though. Like if my buddy Nullis were here, I think he would just like have at it. He would just go in. He'd be on top of that topic. Like really. I don't feel like I have a dog in that fight though. I'm really discovering more and more how Gnostic I am, actually. I've come across some new channels recently that I'm really, really vibing with. CJ Smith is I always feel like he's Scottish, but he's English. And he's a really peculiar accent. So, anyway, CJ Smith, you guys can look him up. on YouTube. Oh, and one of his a main theme that he covers in his videos is about what he calls the soul trap, and how upon death we have an opportunity and or a choice to not be reincarnated, and he goes through how that works. Um, and I can see how if one does not have any information on that, it would seem perplexing at first. But I'm very familiar with that kind of stuff. So for me, I feel like I hit the jackpot with his channel. Really, really, really happy to have found him. And doing quite a lot of thinking on that topic. So, like the sort of the standard Catholic Christian questions, debates, stuff that people get into isn't really. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my bag. I don't, like I said, I don't have a dog in that fight. I feel pretty strongly that there can be no human intermediary between man and God. And I would say, even like, excuse me, my good Christian friends say things like, nowhere in the Bible does it say that there should be priests and nuns and all the whole establishment of the church. I suppose there's an argument for, the Vatican being kind of like a I don't know. There's some people that say things to the like that it's essentially Jewish, that it's some type of a Jewish branch. I don't know what to call it. Like it's you know what I'm trying to say though. I think. I know that the church has changed a lot through history, and it's very, very complex. But like, that's part of it. Is that like I'm not. How does that save my soul to know all of that history and shit? It's just there's just historic things that happened, and yeah, it's our history, part of our history, and I'm not belittling what it means to other people, but it's kind of like if like you're on the highway and your car breaks down, and then someone's trying to explain who built the roads. Like it doesn't really help me to know that. It's nice that someone built the roads, but or why Japanese cars are better than American cars. Like that's not helping me get out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm utilitarian in that regard. I like spiritually utilitarian. And it's not meant to sound cold. That's just where I'm at. So, you guys are off on some other things here too. This is an interesting topic here. Western Kind says, I do not accept women attempting to subvert the authority of men under paganism. Men are the leaders and women are to be mothers, tenders of domestic matters, keeping the next generation coming. I generally agree with that. The Bible, being a tool for social order, plainly establishes the roles and functions of men and women. Catholics here in Costa Rica are easy for me to talk to on both Jews and Freemasons. Wow. So I guess I'm getting this impression that like Costa Rica is kind of like a tiny utopia, that it doesn't seem to fit the profile of like these horrible Central American or Latin countries that are just rife with like, uh, you know, drug lords and murder and you know all the shit that goes along with that. You know what I'm trying to say? Because that's pretty much what I associate all of South America and Central America with. You know, like you know, I'm sure there's good culture and there's good spots and there's good things. I know that there are, but there's enough bad there for me to not want to go. You know, be like, okay, that's nice. All right, good for you. You know, um, I could get into some personal experiences on the topic, but that would be revealing a little too much. So yeah, I don't know about Nick Fuentes. I don't know. I don't. I don't like automatically hate the guy or something. I just see issues. You know that I see things that I need answers for. You know, and I generally like anyone who's doing our work for us. You know. The president of Costa Rica wants to copy the president of El Salvador and wipe out the drug lords. Yeah, there's only one way. I mean, it's not. I mean, these drug lords in Mexico, they own literally they occupy and run certain parts of Mexico. Like you can't, you know, they'll have massive shootouts with the military. You know, it's like full on, you know, and like what do the citizens think of this stuff? You know what I mean? Are they with the drug lords or are they with the government? You know, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'm enjoying doing these landscapes. Like I don't do landscapes in my comics. It's reminding me of my days when I used to do Chinese landscapes. Maybe I should talk about that. Lighten it up a bit. All this drug lord shit and whatever. I don't know if that would be really a topic of interest for you guys, but so little martial arts news. I should I even say it? It's like, don't give away your secrets. Should I give away my martial arts secrets? So I'll just put it this way. I am going to be moving on to a more advanced level of learning and learning some stuff that is probably almost impossible to find. Like probably, you know, in the martial arts world, there's levels of like, you know, okay, these are the normal schools that people go to. And then that's okay, here are the traditional masters. And then, you know, somewhere down underneath the underground of that, there are the secrets that are being held, you know. And so I just tapped into a resource to take my Kung Fu to the next level. So I'm very, very excited to start learning that. And then test it out over the summer. It's my sparring club. That ought to be fun. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, there you go. Western kind. The Chinese will eat anything. The Chinese have a joke that they say, we Chinese will eat anything with four legs except the chair that we're sitting on. Now, that's a joke from them. You know, excuse me. So, um, and I had it put to me once that if you lived in a country that for hundreds of years had civil war and famine, then you would learn to eat everything too. Because when there is no food, you have to find food. You have to eat things that you wouldn't normally eat. And that's how, over 5,000 years of civil war, pretty much every single thing, including people, can and have been eaten. Now, they don't eat people in China, but there are photos and there are, records of that have happening or have that has happened in like really, really, really remote regions. It's not a normal thing. Don't quote me on that. And no normal Chinese person would think that was good. So I'm not trying to, say something stupid here, but anyway, um, but like donkeys and dogs and cats and scorpions and you know just everything. Like there's like they have these weird giant salamanders in southern China. They're grotesque. They're like the size of like alligators, I guess, and they eat those. It's like I just never thought like eating a salamander. Like what would that's just pretty weird, right? You wouldn't think about it. But again, it's like let's say America goes into some kind of civil war and there's a famine and there's nothing to eat. Are you gonna, and then you got kids or something, or it's a horrible thing. It is a horrible, horrible thing. But I'm telling you, if you're gonna die or your kids are gonna starve, then you're gonna eat your dog and you're gonna eat your cat. And it's just the plain truth of the matter. You're gonna, any kind of birds or critters in your neighborhood or any of that stuff, that's all on the table. So I get it. I mean, I get it. Believe me, I lived over there. And I was a little rude in some cases. And I kind of regret that. That just wasn't appropriate for me to, behave certain ways at certain times. It's like it's another culture. You're a guest there. You're not supposed to like insult their food. It's bad, but there's certain things that we Americans were like, oh my god, like oh my god, you just couldn't help myself. But anyway, so I made my little speech. Western Kind says they shouldn't be trying to take leadership roles in churches either. Feminism is a big problem. A lot of churches in my town, which is why I go to the church. I don't go to church. Yeah, that's all Marxism. Yeah. Hippocratic Oath says your kung fu is no good against 12 whitefish small gray aliens. Whitefish. You remember that conversation? That was a good conversation. What a crazy question. That was like probably the best question I've ever been asked. How would you, if you had to fight, these different aliens? um, it's said in the UFO community that there's going to be full contact by 2027. So stick around, guys. 2027. There's humanoid aliens already in the government. They're essentially the same species as us. They're just from other star systems or something. according to what they say, um, according to insiders. I've seen like enough photos and footage to kind of get over the shock of it. It's definitely disturbing. I could I could like I have these photos on my phone and shit, and once in a while I'll share them with people. They're creepy as fuck. There's no doubt, you know. Um, but it's just sort of a thing that we're gonna have to get used to, you know, when the time comes. I guess I'm gonna put the music back on. Don't eat fluffy. Yeah. Excuse me, can I get some more scorpion butter on my nematodes? Um, without an established social framework imposing social order, preventing them from making decisions that they are not qualified to make, men are to be leaders, destructive outcomes. So I think it's women have proven, you know, what happens when women are in power. They've proven it, you know. It's not that some women cannot handle it. There definitely are good female leaders here or there, you know. But I would say, you know, let's imagine, for example, that there was no Marxism and there was no feminism, and that, you know, there were women that just chose to be in various positions of power. Like, how would they, how different would they be? Would they still have that kind of like destroy Western civilization, I secretly hate white men agenda? Or would they just do their job like anybody does a job? Would it be merit based, skill based? Do you see what I'm saying? Not all ticks give you Lyme disease. Not all smokers get cancer. We still know the liability. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's pretty well said. That is pretty well said. Okay, probably turn things up. Mm. The most qualified women to lead should lead other women. Men should lead men. This is this is a this is very agreeable. I like this concept, um, particularly where it could come into play in with like generations. So like, you know, older women leading younger women, you know, to help them in whatever capacity, you know, whatever that is that they're learning, you know. And I think that that's actually kind of traditional, isn't it? I mean, you know, I sort of feel as if like we, like I admire the Amish like more and more and more. You know what I mean? You know, like having these kind of traditional societies. Arranged marriages established by fathers in communities that commence post-puberty are the historical norm and the future of social order for getting our white baby factories running. So that's a hot number right there. It's a hot take. I think factually, it's very hard to argue that. I think going from who we are now and where we are now to that would be very, very hard. I also know that there's a lot of people in arranged marriages that are miserable, you know, and it's not, there's a problem there, is what I'm saying. The homestay family that I stayed with, they had an arranged marriage, and I remember my homestay brothers were talking about, my parents are having some difficulties. There's an arranged marriage, da da da. It's very traditional, but now that they're old, they're just, I don't know. There's a problem, like they're not getting along, or they feel unhappy, and I don't blame them. I'm like the super romance guy. I couldn't. I don't think I could function in an arranged marriage. But at the same time, I know now from years of emotional damage that, maybe it's better, that I could be avoiding like untold amounts of like horrible emotional damage from like relationships that came and went. I'm divorced, for example. That scarred me for life. um and people underestimate the power of how bad these psychological wounds can be from relationships. Whereas, perhaps if you're in one, and I think that all has to kind of do more with just like society and people kind of fulfilling their expectations within a society. And how would we go back to that? You know what I'm saying? It's very, very hard to imagine how to go backwards to that. I know backwards is not really the word I'm looking for, but because I'm not saying that it's backwards. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. How do we return to it? All the men's clubs have been eliminated on the floor of the Harvard Club. It says this is where the men go to get away from women, and now it's full of women. Fuck that. Caring about what makes women happy has led to much destruction, disorder. One could ride that train all the way into ultimate smoking chasm of the white erasure that we stare down today. Wow. Powerful statement. Powerful statement. Women have been used by the Jews in the same way they use the blacks. They have no agency of their own. Woo. Um, so I would agree about them being used. It's 100% true. I think the women like men, there's different kinds. There's high IQ, low IQ. Um, I recognize the biological factors and how they play a role in decision making and all that other stuff. But at the same time, I guess I don't feel like I can lump it all into one. I feel like there's lots of cases of women who function well, Um, I also feel like there is a bit too much. It's not real misogyny, but there's like a lot of bitterness in men, and I'm one of them. So like I'm not like, you know, no one hates feminism more than me, believe me, and I've been hurt profoundly by it. So like it's not a joke in my life. But at the same time, I'm also sort of trying to remain as objective as I can about the topic. And just because I have opinions about it doesn't mean that that's going to change anything or whatever. They're just my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have put my cards on the table. Yes. Yes, you have, sir. Put your cards on the table. Indeedy. Um, yeah, I guess my thinking these days is very much along the lines that, like, there should be more respect between men and women in our movement. That, you know, if we're going to be making babies and saving the race or whatever and all this stuff, then why are we fighting so much? You know what I'm saying? That's not the way. You know, we have to get, we've got to figure something out that's more, you know, functional. And there you go. It's funny talking about this because in this scene, there's, you know, the husband or wife are meeting again. She thought he died, and they're kissing and they're loving and they're crying and they're hugging. You know, so it's like funny topic for this particular page of art. You know. All right. I listen to the incel guys sometimes, and while some of their complaints are valid, they also seem to displace their own issues onto women in society. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid here. And I'm not an incel, so that's not, you know, I like, to me the term incel is really just an insult. Like, I don't, what's the point of creating a word like that, you know, involuntarily celibate, you know? Oh, you can't have sex. You're as if, like, you know, on the one hand, it's like, oh, don't use women, respect women. But on the other hand, like, you should be able to just go out and have sex anytime you want. Like, it's a fucking product, you know, like this, like, yeah, I can. I can pay for a whore. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I thought you wanted me to respect women. Which is it? Is it red light or green light? Okay. So, like, don't fucking insult men that way, you know? It's just, but this is what I'm trying to say is, like, men and women fighting inside the movement is going to fuck the movement up. Okay. And we can't do it. We can't have it. So it's, Uncle Donald says no about that one. No, 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 no. Um, there's no shame in a woman being a caring mother, keeper of the home, perform roles. Of course not. Yeah. Women will cleave to the victor. They, so yeah, that whole thing is very psychological. The research I've been doing on, like, women's psychology is, you always have to kind of take these things with a little bit of a grain of salt, in the sense of, like, you know, these self-help gurus that have all the answers or something. And Is it true, or are they selling a program? You know what I mean? So, but I do feel that biologically there's a lot going on there, and that men have to understand women's biology. If if men understood women's biology better, I believe we would be way, way, way more successful, just as a people and the society and all of it. Um, yeah, it's interesting how biology is king in a lot of ways. If you think about it, you know. All right, it's coming together nicely. How are we doing on time? Biology, as Adolf Hitler described, is the iron law of nature against which men rebel at their peril. Strongly agree. Women will spread for and survive the raid and kills a former husband. Yeah, I don't really want to turn this into like an anti-woman stream. That's contrary to my goals. I know what they do. I know what they do. You know. Um, yeah. I feel like feminism is probably the best weapon of the Jews. It's done more damage. Oh, I love this guitar riff. Where's this from? Where's that guitar riff from? Anyway, so we have to defeat it by figuring out how to get along again and restore the harmony between man and woman. Knowledge is power. Let's see. I feel like that guitar riff is from Radiohead somewhere. It's kind of. All right, that's good enough. Good night. All right, bro. Have yourself a good night. We'll see you next time. Explaining why that you needed to keep women under control, just like fire. Fire can be useful, or da da da. Yeah. Fulfillment of the will to survive of my people. Yeah, some powerful concepts here. I gotta go run errand myself. All right, Mr. Pyle, heavy duty. Yeah, yeah, man. This has turned out to be kind of a heavy stream, actually. Um, it's like I'm too exhausted for this kind of stuff. Last night was a lot of fun, though. Luke Mason on the show. Such a good vibe. Such a based guy. Really cool conversations. So I'm just waiting for the script for the next issue of that last story. Guess it'll be arriving soon. I don't know what tomorrow's theme is for the show. Patriotic Art Live. Oh, I think it's King Arthur. I think that's what it is. Okay. The discussion is enjoyable despite your fatigue. I'm glad somebody's enjoying it. I gotta go. Okay, that's just funny. Well, that's not related. That's just I'm tired, you know. But the thing is, it's a very personal topic. It really, it's something I feel very deeply about. And I myself have to be objective in terms of, like, you know, don't mix in your personal problems or bad experiences into this in a way that is subjective. You know, try to, if we're going to actually have a real discussion on the topic, then, like, I think I've got to give women a fair shake, you know. And especially with all the fucking psycho women out there today, you know, in office, you know, the AOC squad and all the garbage that we see everywhere, all over the Western world. It makes you very hateful, you know. It makes you angry, but that's the same kind of thing like anything. It's like, well, you know, I'm not, logically, you sort of can't blame all women type thing. It's just not, it's irrational. That's kind of why I brought up the notion of, like, well, what if, you know, we didn't have Marxism and all these feminist training bots, you know, fembots out there. You know, how different would women be in leadership roles, you know? And it's just case by case, I guess. But yeah, I just don't want to engage in that whole, like, men women hating each other vibe. You know, that's just something I don't want to do, you know. Without feminism, most women would be a lot happier, and there would be a few cases of hysteria here and there. I strongly agree. I think, yeah, I'm a staunch anti-feminist. You know, I guess, you know, like, how do I put this? Like, women have cases where they have grievances and they need representation, but I don't consider that feminism. Feminism is a Jewish psyop. That's entirely different. So, like, it's misleading to use the term feminism to talk about cases where, like, say, spousal abuse or uh, getting the things she needs while she's having a baby, or just normal things. Like, it's really just all about being sensible. So I never ever equate feminism with any of those natural things. Although I'm sure a lot of feminists would. That's part of the psyop. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, if you're against women getting, whatever the things that they need, then, oh, well, then you're a misogynist, and therefore we need more feminism. That's a very, Jewy thing to do. Vox Clementis, what's up, Vox? Tell me a little about your name. What does that mean? Is there a certain reference there? Vox Clementis. Is it Latin? What does it mean? I don't speak Latin. Western kind hails. We need our factories open. We need the social order to keep the trains running. Yeah. Voice of something. Dynamis is back. Haha, yes. Oh, really? Okay. Vox's voice. So Clementis. I don't know what that means, so I can't tell you. I know that my voice sounds a little English from time to time. That much is sure. Got a nice music vibe happening in the background here. This it's not one of those action adventure pages. It's one of those romance pages. It is February. Oh, God. I actually just let go of someone that I was infatuated with. It's kind of situation where it was established that we liked each other, and I knew, that was there, but she seems to be, like, in a hurry to get a boyfriend. Like, she's very, I need a man kind of, like, she's in a kind of a hurry, and is in a certain phase there, and, like, she got a boyfriend, so had to let go. But that's okay. When you've got nothing, you got nothing to lose. There is a writer named Edward Abbey who is an environmentalist and kind of controversial for his time. He wrote a book, and the book is called. Vox's name stems from a personal joke. When he was in high school, I had a friend that was into nature studies. Okay. So who is this Edward Abbey guy? Oh, that's something to do with the joke, I guess. I don't know. I'm lost. Um. Uh, oh, sorry, guys. The book was called Vox Clementis in Deserto, named from Called Me Vox. Okay, got it. Okay. What's up, Robert Pyle? How you doing? Getting shit done? Years later, I needed a nom de plume for the internet and looked up Vox Clementis and found that it belongs to another middle-aged writer who wrote a treatise on nobility. Oh, so very interesting. Are you a writer, Vox? Do any of you guys do any creative work? I used to writing, but couldn't make a living at it. Now just do some translating books. Translating. So, do you speak another language then? Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with this panel. It's actually a difficult shot, like as far as the anatomy goes. You know what, gents? It's getting a bit late over here. Can't speak it, but can read German, French, and Spanish passably with dictionaries and all the tools that are available. I'm very impressed by that. I really, if I could just, oh man, I'm really impressed with that. You must be quite an intelligent dude. John Gower was hailed and venerated. He is entombed in a small town in France. I believe his writings are very important. Um, Listen, gents, I hate to do this to you. That's going on almost 2 hours here, so I'm just too tired. I can't really go any farther here. But as usual, you guys have yourself a great evening. You guys, maybe you can connect and some translation work or whatever. But we shall see you on the flip side. Good night. Glad you guys enjoyed the chat, and I will see you soon. God bless. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.